Let's go ahead and get started this morning. Thank you all for being on. I'm Marcy Utakis with RLB, and I serve as chair as the membership committee. And with us, today, is our co-chair, Lisa Folsom of Sunland Asphalt. Morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
For some reason, Lisa's video is not working, so we're just going to power through this. This stuff happens, right? Also with us is Carrie Kelly, the Executive Director of AED, and also Meg and Juliana to help facilitate today's meeting. Good morning, ladies.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
So welcome to our 9th installment of AED's Member InFocus virtual series, where we conduct fun and informative interviews with Arizona's leading economic development practitioners.
Yep, so for today's InFocus meeting, we've enabled your video so that we can all connect, but to ensure the quality of our audio, we ask that all attendees place themselves on mute. If time permits at the end, we will take additional questions posted to the chat box. We will be keeping to our 30-minute time frame to get you all out on time today.
All right, so Lisa and I will be your host today, and now it's my privilege to introduce one of Arizona's foremost economic developers, Karla Moran from SRP. Welcome, Karla.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, to just start right in, Karla, can you tell us a little bit about your role with SRP?
Sure. So SRP, we actually cover 15 communities. So I joke around my role changes depending on the day or the community. So we like to think that we're an extension of our community. So whatever our communities need. So we'll be working on strategic plans with one community, and the next day working on a large project for another community. So it's every day is different. We do spend a lot of time on business attraction. That's probably our main focus. We do a little bit on business recruitment or expansion, but we do have a existing customer service team that does a lot on our existing companies. Get to travel a little bit, so it's kind of fun to go out to the community. I'm finally traveling now again. That's why I'm so excited. I'm in Queen Creek today. They finally let us back out slowly but surely. So we get out in the community a lot, but we also travel with our partners at GPAC and ACA to promote the region.
Very nice. Thank you, Karla. Now it's time for some questions about you to help us to get to know you better. Are you an Arizona native? If not, how did you land here?
I am not. I'm a proud Sun Devil, so I came here for school. I went to school at Albuquerque, and the big cities either is Denver, San Antonio, or Phoenix. And Phoenix just sounded a little bit nicer, honestly. I actually went and toured this University of Arizona and fell in love with the campus, but they did not have a international business certificate, and ASU did. So that was what kind of swayed me to ASU. And so I thought that I was going to go home, go back to Albuquerque maybe, but no, didn't happen. And now I'm a loyal ASU fan.
Yay, go Devils. All right. So what's on your travel or other bucket list to do, and why?
So those who know me know I love to travel. I have left the country a couple of times during COVID because I cannot sit still. I'm constantly booking new trips. And I've put the travel bug in my kids. My son actually wants to go to Costa Rica this summer. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. Last year, he was asked to go to Australia, so he booked a trip to Australia. So I'm always open for things. I'm dying to go to Thailand and go to Bali. That's kind of on my list. But I do have a 7-year-old that only eats Italian food, so it makes it really hard to travel. Yeah. So yeah, I told him he really wants to go to China, and I was like, yeah, they really don't have like chicken nuggets. It's kind of something different there. So we're working on it, but hopefully we'll get to go somewhere a little bit more exotic, but we'll see.
Just carry a whole bunch of cans of Chef Boyardee. He'll be fine.
Right.
Wait, is that Italian food?
Yes. To a child, it is, yes. So what are your hobbies and how did you get into them?
So some shocker, I'm actually a triathlete. I've been doing triathlons for over 10 years. I've done 5 Ironmans. I'm currently trained for another half. I just don't have the time right now to do a full one anymore. That's like a part-time job. was great while I was single, but it's not exactly sustainable when you have kids. So I do run and bike and swim all the time. So this morning had to get up and do my 5-mile run before I drove all the way up to Green Creek.
Wow. So do you have any upcoming planned?
Yep, I'm actually supposed to go to St. George, Utah, to be one of the first one. They have a 70.3 race there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And that's actually in a couple of weeks, and then I'm hoping to go to California at the end of the year.
Like my son is a cross country athlete, and my older brother always made fun of him because he said that his sport that he chose was other sports punishment.
I think as you get older, especially, I did sports in high school, and just when I got older, it's just like that, you start running. Okay, I'll start running. And then I was like, oh, I'll bike a little bit. Oh, no. I'm a horrible swimmer, so I kind of do drown in the water a little bit, but I still go to the pool and swim.
All right, so Karla, now we've reached the part of the interview where we get to learn more about your work. So let's start with a few questions about your career.
So tell us a little bit more about your current role in focus and economic development for SRP.
So my current role, really helping clients come in that understand to talk about our existing infrastructure. So a lot of the cities will call and ask help for to determine where the power is, how we're going to get it to them, what's the cost and the timeline. That's honestly what I spend right now most of my time. It's been really, really busy right now. I feel like the floodgates are open and every industrial project is looking at Phoenix right now. And some of them are massive. So that's where I actually spend most of my time now. I give everything else to Mark. No, just kidding. But we try to do other stuff for our communities because obviously creating a better quality of life for our communities will help attract new businesses and employers or employees to the area. So whatever we can do to help our communities is what we do. I'm currently working with the West Valley on a new marketing brochure that highlights all of the freeways on the west side of town. And so the I-10, the 101, the 202, the 303, I think I-11, I think I'm missing one. But the idea is just to highlight all the potential that's with all the freeway corridor connections. So that's an exciting brochure that we're about to put out hopefully soon, maybe the next month. So
very nice.
Awesome. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about your background in economic development?
Sure. So like almost all economic developers, I kind of just fell into economic development. I actually thought I was going to be a custom broker. I went to school and decided that international business was going to be the best thing for me, and I was going to do customs broking. And then I actually went to work for a freight forwarder and did that for a year and realized, nope, that is not what I want to do with my life. I was actually called in sick one day because I didn't want to work. And I saw a job opening at the Arizona Commerce Authority for international trade specialist. I was like, that sounds cool. So I applied, I actually got the job. And I started working for the Arizona Commerce Authority as an international trade specialist. At that time, I was covering Europe, and I was working a lot on the aerospace industry. I was able to travel to Europe a couple of times, and then 2008 hit, and all the money, or actually we had travel restrictions. And so it was interesting, and they started sweeping money, obviously, from the department. Edie remembers this time. But when they started sweeping all the money, we all started doing different things. So I remember one day you go in and you're going to be working on business retention, or you'll be doing emerging technology stuff. So whatever it was able body that they could put to a project, they would. So I would say during that time, I felt like I didn't have a role. I was just doing whatever it took to keep the wheels on the bus to keep going forward. So that was a very interesting time. And then when we became the Arizona Commerce Authority, we started traveling a lot more. So I was traveling to China, to Japan, to Europe. I actually was able to travel to Brazil twice. So I'm Brazilian, so that was actually kind of cool. I first time I could actually use my Portuguese for business purposes. So yeah, it was extensive travel. I enjoyed every minute of it. And then I got pregnant and had a baby. So it made it really hard to travel. So I was like, let's try city work. So I actually had an amazing opportunity to go to work for the town of Gilbert. Eye-opening experience, especially spending so much time in the state. It's a whole different world on the local level. It is completely eye-opening. Like, I didn't realize how much work goes into the local level. Then there was an opportunity that popped up at SRP, and I was like, I think I'm a regional person. I like the regional work. So it was a good fit for me. So I've been at SRP now going on 6 years. Sounds like a lot, but not for SRP. Everybody there has been there for years and years. Like, people are like, oh, 35 years, 40 years. I'm like, that's insane. I can't imagine it, but it happens. So as I joke around with Mark, we're just babies in the company. Especially at this company, like, you got to be careful what you say to, because that person might be your boss in 5 years. There's a lot of transferring. So it's an interesting, it's like a mini city though. I will say my time at the city did prep me for SRP, because SRP is built like a city.
Very nice. So what or who inspired you to pursue the career you have today?
It's morphed as I have been in the role, right? So I literally stumbled in the role. And I was lucky to follow the shoes of Jean Jerkovich. She was actually in my role before I took it. I had big shoes to fill. So it was, watching her career path has been, for me, something to admire. She's done really well, and it's just fun to watch her. And a lot of my other colleagues, Danielle, Casey in Albuquerque, I think we all learn a lot from each other. I wouldn't say I had a mentor per se. I had a lot of peer colleagues that all had something unique to offer, and you just learn a lot from your peers, especially in the roles I've had. I've had a lot of opportunity to work with some really amazing people. And so being able to go in and out of the communities is probably honestly the best part of my job.
Kind of like traveling a little bit, even locally. Okay, so what's the best advice you can give someone who's just getting started in an economic development career?
Get involved. But I will say I'm overly involved. So I tend to say yes to too many things. No, I think getting involved helps though, because you start understanding things on a more holistic approach too, and how you can work with other people. The more I've evolved in my role, I've realized people that I volunteered with in other organizations, we keep the nexus keep coming back around, right? Like, so we work with so many different people. And I feel like you build strong connections and relationships when you do volunteers and you're working for a common goal.
Yep, I agree. So tell us about a cool project, program, or event that you're involved in that we may not know about.
I feel like this week has been an interesting week. So at SRP, we didn't have an economic development strategy. And so about 3 years ago, we decided to embark on our first economic development strategy. I thought it'd be easy. That is an interesting animal. Everybody has an opinion on what we should be doing in economic development for a large utility company. Especially being an economic developer, I have a different opinion. I would not say I'm a utility person. I would probably say I'm still an economic developer. I will never change that title. But I think the coolest thing is we're trying to really align ourselves with our community so we add more value, making sure that we're supporting all of our communities in an equal way that's beneficial to them. And that's probably the most challenging part because of the variety of our communities. One thing that's good for Chandler is not good for Tolleson. And another thing's good for Fountain Hills is not good for Mesa. So working with them and understanding what they need. So the strategy, we're actually about to go through our third year. We're kind of refining it. There's been a lot of discussion on what we should be doing. So we're just kind of working through that. But I think it's helped organize us and been able to elevate SRP economic development to a new level. So it's behind the scenes things that you don't see that helps just kind of highlight what we're doing internally, but also gives us a platform externally to do more things.
Okay. Is there a special project that you're working on right now, a program or a recent win that really stands out to you?
One of the recent wins that really stands out to me, because I feel like it's one that keeps on giving, is CMC Steel. So CMC Steel announced back in August that they're doing an expansion. Part of that expansion is they need a rail spur that's to come off the main line. So I've been working with JD Beatty from the city of Mesa and some other colleagues on helping bring the rail through for CMC Steel. So we're back trying to put together a grant application for that. The Biden administration has relabeled the grant. So I laugh because I can't remember it. It used to be Tiger and then it was Build, and I think now it's called Rise. They like to change same grant, just different name, right? So they just announced that. So the team is working back up to put together an application for the grant. I think there's a lot of opportunity right now, especially with all the money that's going through the CARES Act and the EDA, that I think there's gonna be a lot more opportunity moving forward for getting grants, and working on cost teams like that would be, figuring a way to organize some of that would be beneficial for the region. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'll probably call Denise figure out how we can get some more money for our region for transportation, but I think there's a lot of opportunity. So it's kind of exciting to be on a project like that, because it's the first time I've been involved in anything like that. So did he say I love Mesa? What was that? I saw something pop up. Don't listen to Mark. Mark's my colleague from SRP, old City of Mesa employee. Don't listen to him.
Right. So now we're going to find out a little bit about how you like to do business.
So what is the role of SRP in new businesses or business expansions, and how did you get involved?
Usually we're brought in by our cities or partners. A lot of time I spent at the state, I met a lot of brokers, so they still call me. So it depends on how we get projects mostly from our city partners in the city, the state, and GPEC. But we do get the occasional brokers, engineer firms that reach out and ask for help. Usually they want to know how to connect in the power and our process. And so that's usually pretty easy. There's projects that are super easy where we give information and then they go away and we don't see them until they submit for an application. There's other projects that just keep giving and we have constant meetings with them. They want to know the nitty gritty. And so we get involved in different levels, just depending on the client. So it's really, it could be different. I have a construction firm that loves to call me because when he does pre-bids, he likes to have all the information because he thinks it gives him a leg up on his pre-bids. And so he calls me and asks me for information. How much power can we get there? What's the max timing, all that fun stuff. And we'll put that in the submittals. I don't recommend you do that. No, you can do that. We're happy to help. So those are things that we help with, not just our cities, but for local providers, service providers. We actually work a lot with some of the engineering firms, especially when they turn over to electrical. So
I see a lot of calls coming in now for you.
Also number.
Okay, so if I want to meet with you, Karla, how do I set up a meeting? How do you like to meet, etc.?
So we were just informed June 15th, we're allowed to go and be in the public. So very excited. Not large groups though, sorry, Carrie. But still, I can actually go to meetings. I normally do attending meetings. I'm usually never in the office. So it's best to be out in the community, and coffee meetings, lunch meetings, grabbing somebody after an event. It usually works well. We're usually at a lot of events just because of our roles to be seen in our communities. So that's a great way to connect. I'm always on LinkedIn. That is my social media of choice. It takes me a minute to get through some of the requests, but I do communicate a lot. So a lot of people will reach out to me on LinkedIn, and then I usually ask them to email me on my work line, and then we set up a meeting. But I'm super informal too, texts, calls.
Very nice. So tell us a little bit about AAED. What is your involvement in AAED?
I have been involved with AAD for almost 15 years. It is varied in roles. My first committee I actually joined was the membership committee, which is really interesting because it's like that full circle, but here I am again on the membership committee. I've done awards, I've done government affairs. I'm trying to think of what is that I think we do, Carrie? The policy impact celebration. So I've been heavily involved.
Economic Development 101.
Yeah, what else we do? I think AAD is really instrumental in having to organize all of us all and work for something to help more of the common good, right? Like all the cities have components that we work on, but we're all trying to educate ourselves more, learn what our partner cities are doing, and AAD gives that foundation. So I've always been involved. I think it has benefited my career significantly being involved. I've met so many people, and I've actually been able to work with a lot of different people because of AAD. So I always recommend getting involved. It is one of my preferred organization. I am involved in a lot of other organizations, but I do spend the most time on this organization. So I think for me, it's the better one.
So that leads right into, what is your favorite AAED event and why?
So I love the academies. Being in the industry as long as I am, it's constantly changing, and I think the academies are crucial in keeping up with different things that are going on. So the academies are great. Policy impact celebration is even better because Tom always brought his wine, so I'm sad we can't do it in person. Gosh, the spring conference, the Eddie Awards, that's a lot of fun. Can't wait until we do it again in person. There's just so much, and I think that being with the organization for so long, I think it's allowed me to do different things, and I can't pick one. Sorry.
Now I get it. They're all fun, well worthwhile. Okay, well, I'm checking the time now. I think we can open it up for questions, and I'm looking back through the chat, and I'm just going to Veronica's question. Veronica wants to know, how does your program approach forming an inclusive economic development plan? How does your program approach forming an inclusive economic development plan?
We've been interviewing all of our senior executives, which I think is probably the biggest challenge because everybody has a different opinion of economic development, as you all know, right? Like you ask one person what economic development, and they're like, oh, it's bringing in hotel. And that's another person, and it's like, oh no, it's bringing in quality jobs. What's quality jobs? The variation is just insane. And so bringing all of them in and then trying to take in their comments and integrate them into our plan. It's going to be challenging, I will say for sure. But I think you have to do that to get them all on board on our plan so we can make it comprehensive, and it's going to be a challenge. But I think you have to spend a lot of time internally in educating management what you do, right? Why you do it, what's the benefit, who's it benefiting, and sometimes they ask for the ROI, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they will. It's amazing what a letter from like a city manager can do sometimes, though. Like small things like that, like that we help in the smallest way will go a long way. And we want to say that we're part of the community, and so how do we help? And so having those partnerships and having our management understand that is beneficial for all of us to do better. So thank you, Edie.
Okay, so we've got, here's like another question. If you went back to working for a local government, which one would it be and why? That's from Heath.
It's not a secret. Probably Phoenix or Mesa. I like the diversity of the cities, and so being able to work on different projects. Now, the same management will let me work on different projects. I don't know, but that was that would be it. Or Glendale. Glendale's another option.
All right. So if any of you have any questions for Karla, you're free, go ahead and open up your mics or however you want to do it, or pop it into the chat. I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. There's a lot going on in it. Then there was one comment that said, great to hear CMC Steel is thriving. It was an old Arizona Commerce project that Greg Weiner steered to win for the state of Mesa. If you ever want to hear the story, call me. It's a good one. And that was from Edie.
I'm sure it was. I think there's a couple of people that were here from the Commerce Days. So Edie, Tom, as he was last. And then of course, Jamie was on for a minute ago. So yeah, we all have our war wounds from working for the Commerce Authority, or Department of Commerce, sorry.
When I was working for Commerce, Karla was on the international side, and she was traveling all the time. It was rare that I would even see her, and we were on the same floor. I was so envious of your frequent flyer miles. I was like, man, that's fantastic.
That was a benefit. I realized I don't like to travel like a normal person anymore. I need my benefits. Small things.
So I see a couple of people saying, Karla, you're awesome. Thanks for all you do. And then Jesse Peterson. I'm sorry, I don't know Jesse. Where's Jesse from?
He's from Glendale.
Okay, come on over, Karla.
You're doing some cool stuff in Glendale. I think that's a fun stuff. I got to see some really cool things that the cities are doing. And it's just unique to be able to be a part of the teams. And there's just so many different teams and just innovative things that are going on in the market that we just don't hear about all the time. So Jess got a cool Smart Cities initiative that they're working on. So it's just fun to see different things and to be a part of some of that. It's just makes you feel like.
Karla, I wanted to share something that we're doing with APS. Unfortunately, that is our carrier, okay? But this is something that may be of value to you. We have so much activity going on at our Copper Wing Logistics Center that we actually invite APS. This was pre-COVID, mind you, but we would invite them over to City Hall once a quarter to basically go over what leads, what prospects, and we found it really beneficial because we learned so much about the power infrastructure in the area, the substations. I could tell you that I've got an empty transformer, at the Varney station, and if I get it, I could tell you how many megawatts it has. So I learned so much on the power side by having that interaction, and in turn, they learned so much about what's going on at that logistics center. And I think we really helped each other out by meeting on a quarterly basis. And we're going to continue to do that as we get more activity into the area.
I think that's a great idea. We do that informally with some of our cities. I think there's a couple cities that I talk way too much to.
So Lori Collins missed where your next Iron Man.
Well, it's funny because they do have some women ones, and it's different when you race with just women. It's a whole different race, just to say the least, when it's just women. But St. George, Utah, and then Palm Springs. That one's kind of selfish because that's a fun place.
Okay, here's another question for you, Karla, from Matt. Does Karla have any concerns with the intense, rapid expansion of some of our markets? Example, West Side in particular, from an infrastructure standpoint?
I think it's everywhere, honestly. We actually had some site selectors in town last week, and they were heavily concerned of the price of steel and the cost of construction and the cost going up. We're seeing that in our timelines right now. The market is really hot. There's a lot of projects. And some companies have extra money to throw at the project. So it's interesting to see prices go up and timelines get longer. Is there going to be a bubble? I don't know, but I hope not, because I like being busy rather than not. But it's definitely, there's a lot in the market right now. And not just from infrastructure and timeline perspective, but we have a lot of announcements too that are coming through. And so you kind of wonder how much more can the market bear with these large announcements, and how does that look on a national scale? If we're winning a couple thousand, adding 4,000 jobs here, 5,000 jobs here, or can you sustain that for how long? So I'm concerned, but I'll hold on until as long as we can. Hold on for dear life and work 80 hours a week until it's over.
Right. Right, that bubble. All right, well, I don't see any more questions right now. And unfortunately, we've come to the end of our half-hour quick hit here. Karla, I could probably listen to you for much longer. I know you've got a lot of information that you could share with us. But anyway, thank you so much for being with us today. And I think that if you all will stay tuned for next month, we're going to be interviewing Ken Chapa, who is Economic Development Director with the City of Avondale. And sorry, I'm a little glitchy here because my computer is freezing up, only parts of it though. So Lisa?
I was seeing that Braxton wanted to make a comment. Did it get answered, Braxton, or did you have a comment you wanted to make before you left?
I'll make it super quick. I actually just wanted to give a quick shout out to Karla, because I had an informational interview with her several months ago. I had been working at Yelp for several years, corporate world, and was considering transitioning into economic development. And she was so willing to help, provided me with a ton of resources, connected me with Heath actually, and that was pivotal in me connecting to the job that I started this week actually in economic development at Local First Arizona. So I just think that's a testament to Karla and her willingness to help out someone who's starting out their career in ED. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's awesome to hear. I'm so glad. That's super cool. I'm done for the day. I can go home.
She's done her part. All right. Well, thank you all so very much for being on with us today. We look forward to seeing you next month. And again, thank you so much, Karla.
No problem. Thank you for attending.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Karla. Bye.
Bye-bye.